I hope this is straight. What's going on, internet family? I know it has been a fortnight or 12 since I've been back on YouTube's the internet, the interwebs, and I wanted to come back today because it has been about 30 days since Beyonce released her seventh studio album, Renaissance. That was kind of scary. I don't know if y'all saw that shadow. That was crazy. And fucking pterodactyl. Uh, yeah. So she released her seventh studio album, Renaissance, and I have not been able to listen to anything since. I've had this album on repeat since it dropped, and I am still trying to digest, dissect, understand everything that is Renaissance. And the fact that this is only the first act has me overwhelmed, to say the least. Please play the footage from the night I found out that it was coming, and then we can continue our conversation. Also, I know I'm wearing the wrong merch because my other Beyonce shirt is dirty, but luckily I came prepared. This is box set number two, pose number two, and pose. We'll do pose number one. Yes, yes, I'm extra. Yes, I bought all four boxes because I didn't know what was going to be in them. I didn't know if there was going to be some secret Beyonce message if you put all the boxes together or whatever. I gave my sister one of them though, so it's not like I kept them all for myself. But we'll do pose number one. I'm gonna get into this really quick. Also, if y'all didn't get to see the boxes, it just says Act 1 Renaissance on the front. Matte black, very smooth. This has the pose on the back. And then you open it, and it has painting, mother, and then it has the CD in the box. Gonna change shirts real quick. And shout out to my friend Ty. I might cut one of these into a little cutoff number, show these arms a little bit. And then this is the first CD that I'm actually opening. If I have a pin, that's the shirt, just the album art and the CD. I cannot remember the last time I bought a CD. Oink. My hair looks crazy. I don't want to damage the CD. So here's the CD. Ooh, we get a poster. Front. Oh, yes. I just open it all the way. Front. I love it. Beyoncé. And back, which means I'll probably have to open two of these so I can display both pictures. Because, duh. Can y'all see that? Maybe we'll do this one. Perfect. And then we have the inside fold. Crazy. And then I haven't been so excited about a CD in so long. We have the alternate cover art, which is on the limited edition vinyl. Boop. The dedication to her Uncle Johnny. And then pictures. I wonder if these have anything to do with the visuals, which she still has not given us as of August 31st, 2022. Sorry, y'all. This is literally, I'm opening it for the first time. And then we can talk about the album. She looks good. Mm. And then the CD itself looks like, oh, just the horse. I love it. Okay, let's talk. Let's talk. Let's talk. I don't even know where to start. What an emotional project. From the rollout, because Mama gave us Break My Soul, and now I'm having to like go back. She gave us Break My Soul, and this is the first time, I guess, in some years. Like, Beyonce has been doing surprise drops, and like, once the art is done here, take everything, since self-titled. And so for her to create such a precedence in the industry by saying, like, with her self-titled album Beyonce, she changed the release date of music from Tuesdays to Fridays, and then everybody started releasing on Fridays from that point forward. And now, everybody was doing like the surprises, um, which is interesting to me because a lot of you, I'm not gonna name no names, but you know who you are, will say it's a surprise album, but tell us it's coming on Friday. Like, it's not a surprise if you warn us in advance that it's coming. You just have to drop it. Anyway, you know who you are. Uh, so Beyonce did the surprise with self-titled. She did it with Lemonade. She kind of did it with The Gift as well. Like, I don't remember exactly, but I don't think we were expecting. We expected her to be on the Lion King album, but not to give us a separate project. Excuse me, on the side. With the Carters, they did the, or I'm sorry, with Everything Is Love, they did the drop in, was it London, where they played Ape Shit for the first time, and then at the end of the music video it said album out everywhere, which was iconic. What, like, I couldn't even imagine being in that stadium and feeling that for the first time and being the first person to know, and like trying to tell my friends, like, go to streaming platforms right now, Beyonce and Jay-Z just dropped an album. Like, that would have been crazy. uh so she has set a precedence of surprises, is what I was trying to, show. And then for it to, or for her to go back to a more classic, I'm gonna do a lead single, I'm going to do press rollouts and Vogue, and still her own way, but more the classic, what she was doing prior to self-titled, what the entire industry was doing prior to self-titled. Just reminds us how much of a powerhouse Beyonce is in the industry, and how she sets the standard. She is the bar. She says it, alien superstar. So Break My Soul comes out as a lead single. We get a whole bunch of remixes. The shopbeyonce.com goes down, and Mama is like, uh, get these poses, get these boxes. I'm not telling you what's in them. And the internet is in a tizzy. We didn't know what was coming. We knew an album was coming. Was it a visual album? Uh, was it a movie? Like, there was just so many questions. And I love that Beyonce gets us excited about music. I love that a month later I'm still making this video, and I want to talk about this because right now in our industry it's so easy to do bite-sized content. To okay, I played this album once or twice and now I'm moving on to the next one. I played this single once or twice, I'm moving on to the next one. But she has created a project that is so rich that you have to sit there and digest it and listen over and over and over again. And so I just I have to applaud her for that. 25 plus years in the game, and she is still so relevant, so iconic. So yeah, I'm I'm smirking because I think about Drake released Honestly Nevermind, and now we have hindsight, and hindsight is 2020. I feel like he knew that Beyonce was coming out with this album with this kind of sound, and was like, "Fuck it, like let me go ahead and get the streams I'm gonna get because once the girls hear what Beyonce has cooking up, it's curtains." And a lot of people didn't really like the Drake album. I liked it for what it was, and I'll make a separate video about that. But I completely understand sonically the similarities between the two and rushing to get that project out ahead of the masterpiece that Beyonce has released. So the album, I kind of just want to go, I guess, track by track, like not too detailed, because obviously if you've heard it by now. Um, but I just want to give you guys my feelings, my thoughts, and yeah. So the album starts with "I'm That Girl," which from the when she released the track list, I knew that this song was going to speak to me. I knew it was going to be a testimony, if you will. And she did not disappoint. I see a lot of people on the Twitterverse saying they skipped this song, which I don't know how, because to me it sets the entire foundation for the album. It is two shots in the air reminding you bitches to get on the floor. It is just a bow down for the 2022 of it all. Um, the sample is nuts. I appreciate that there is a tempo change and Beyonce is playing with the delivery of the record from the start to tell us that whatever you're expecting from this album, don't expect it. And I applaud her because, again, I want to go back through her discography. Oftentimes, her lead singles give us no real, like, grasp of the grandiosity of the album that she's releasing. I think about Four with Run the World. I kind of hated the song when I first heard it. I didn't get it. And when you hear the rest of Four, Run the World doesn't exactly, it fits obviously, but it is not like anything else on the album. And so it was a good lead single. It's digestible. It was very like in your face, but it wasn't the entirety of what that project was. Formation for Lemonade, again, was fantastic. An anthem, it's powerful, but it did not prepare me for the depth that Lemonade took us through. And so with Break My Soul, first of all, I had the song on repeat constantly because it was so timely with everything that's going on in this country, in the United States. If you guys didn't know, from our political climate to the pandemic going around the globe to like it was just a lot. It still is a lot. A lot is going on, and so for her to release such an anthem of encouragement and hope and freedom was just right on time. She has her ears to the street, and it was just so pertinent. But it still did not prepare me for what this album was. So I'm That Girl comes out of the gate swinging, like just boxing. Um, it is powerful. It is anthemic. It makes you want to shake your ass a little bit. Um, and it's just Beyonce talking her shit. And I think that it's so appropriate. I feel like people give her such a hard time. And if she was a man or white, I do not believe that people would try to discredit her as much as they do. She can't sing. She needs 50 million writers to make a tune. She doesn't do her own production or her vocal production. She is a product, and I applaud her for putting it in the music. I'm not going back and forth on the internet. Just know I see you, and here is a reminder. And the song transitions, I believe the very end or maybe the beginning of Cozy, it's like says this a reminder. And it really is like if you go back to Crazy in Love, her first solo single, she says, "You ready?" And we really weren't ready, Beyonce. We were not. And this feels like a 2022 version of that. Um, Cozy comes in and the T.S. Madison sample. If you don't know who T.S. Madison is, she is a trans activist, show host, actress, just overall superstar. She really cares about the LGBTQ community, and that's something else. The theme of the album is so black and so queer, and I can do nothing but applaud her as a black queer man. Um, for her to use her platform to be like, actually, we're celebrating Pride for the rest of the year, so girlies get in line, like get your outfits on. Like the tour, the looks that the girls and gays are going to pull out for this tour are going to be revolutionary. And I cannot wait. Beyonce, I know it's coming. If you want to just go ahead and drop these tickets, um, so I can, give you more of my ducats. So Cozy comes in. We have the T.S. Madison sample within the song. The song's pretty much talking about like being comfortable in who you are and really highlighting anybody who feels other. I feel like all of us as human beings at one point or another has felt like an outsider or ostracized, but especially in the black and queer space and where those two spaces intersect, it's so easy to feel other from one community or another. And so for her to just say, might I suggest you don't F with my sis because she's comfortable, cozy in her skin. It again is just like another anthem. I feel like the album is anthem after anthem after anthem, telling you, reminding you of your power and your inherent worthiness. And so I just applaud Beyonce for just really going in the studio and creating something so powerful. Cozy goes into Alien Superstar, and that's something else overall from start to finish. This is an album that has some of the best transitions I've had in. This album has some of the best transitions I've heard in my entire life from start to finish. When you press play on this project, it is so easy to get lost in where does this song start, where does this song end, probably up until like Break My Soul Church Girl. You can catch your breath for 2 seconds and then it's right back into it. And I applaud everybody, all the teams who worked on this to make that possible because, like Beyonce said, in her documentary Life is But a Dream, people don't make albums anymore. You're not making entire projects. You're looking for that hit single, which I understand with the TikTok era of it all and the streaming era of it all, trying to cement your place in this industry with people's attention spans shrinking, quote unquote. You want to get out that hot single to make people pay attention to you, but I still think there is a place and a need for uh, albums, full projects. And speaking of, I'm working on my own right now, but we'll talk about that at the end of the video. So, Alien Superstar comes in out of the gate, and it is giving me like Blow's sister. If you know, you know. Blow is a song Beyonce had on her self-titled album. It makes me want to skate. It makes me want to do a bad bitch transformation like Sailor Moon. I've seen so many edits on Twitter of you guys using the song with like a Digimon transformation or Sailor Moon transformation or stuff like that, and it's so appropriate. It just makes you feel uh, otherworldly. It makes you feel out of this world. It makes you want to dance. This whole album makes me want to dance. It makes me want to be in the clubs, which is a feat in itself because Beyonce, you got Corona, Pandora's Box out here, and Harambe, Monkeypox, also out here. So for you to make me want to get out and go to the clubs in the midst of all of this, it speaks to your artistry. It speaks to your talent. Um, we go from Alien Superstar to Cuff It, and Cuff It is also a bop. This one is really the skating song for me. Um, Sorry, I'm talking so much and so fast that I'm getting parched. Cuff It makes you want to be in love. It makes you want to sing, and and dance, and it just feels like a spring day, like in the late 80s, early 90s. Like, I don't know, music just hit different. Not saying that music today does not have a place, but there was just a different energy um, in that space. And Cuff It, to me, encapsulates, encapsulates. You know what I'm trying to say? Encapsulates, encapsulate, encapsulates. Cuff It captures the energy of that era, that time, so perfect. It makes me again want to skate. It makes me want to be in love. Like, I don't know. I love the song. I think it is fantastic. It is this. We're going on this like roller coaster ride, and it's just taking you higher and higher and higher. Um, After Cuff It, we go into Energy, and Energy is criminally short. I wanted Energy to be longer. It reminds me of The Gift. There is another song on here that does that. The Lion King album that Beyonce released, the Black is King um, project. It just makes me want to dance. It has like Afro beats. Beam does a fantastic job. He's the featured artist on that track. It feels good. Beyonce's talking her shit again. Uh, she just entered the country with derringers because these Karens just turned into terrorists. Hilarious. She's hilarious. Vote Now 45. Like I said, she has her ear to the street. She doesn't care how much money she has. Oh boy needs to go. And I love her for it. And then to have the Big Frida sample come in at the end of Energy and go into Break My Soul. I'm still not over Break My Soul. I'm still not tired of it, even though the single came out before the album. Sometimes it's easy to be like, oh, I already heard this so much, let me skip it. No, I listen to it every time. And if I'm being honest, I kind of like the Queen's remix better than the original, the one with the Vogue sample featuring Madonna. If I do skip the album version, I'll just add the Queen's remix version in its place. But I still listen to Break My Soul. Before we get, I guess I kind of just talked about it in its entirety. Before we get into that, though, I want to talk a bit about the Khalees situation. If you didn't hear, you've been under a rock, you weren't on Twitter, whatever. Khalees, the singer Milkshakes, was up in arms because her fans saw that she was credited as a writer on the album initially, and was like, congratulations on the Beyonce collab. And Khalees came out onto the interwebs and was like, it's not a collaboration, it's theft. Beyonce stole from me. She's soulless. She should have called me. Blah, 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 blah. You can Google it. There are articles and videos everywhere. But when the album actually came out, you found out it was an interpolation of Milkshakes. It wasn't even an actual sample. And she did not write the song. She did not produce the song. So to me, it was gracious of Beyonce to include her with a writing credit for an interpolation, because that's money that you'll get for the rest of your life because of this song. But in Beyonce fashion, she didn't go back and forth with her. She just removed her credit from the album, and I hope she's happy. I cannot speak to Khalees personally. I know there was a lot going on with her and Pharrell obviously worked on the project, or has a credit as well. So if she feels slighted, I hope she doesn't now, because she's off the project, but I can't relate. So good luck, girl. Anyway, Break My Soul, fantastic record. I love that Beyonce called Big Frida in. That's something else that I feel like the soul of this album is so rich, because Beyonce tapped on actual black and brown queer talent to be woven through the album. It makes it feel authentic. It makes it feel truthful. It makes it feel like I am honoring a community, not I'm dipping my toe in to take this as it's popular right now, it's hot, and then I'm just gonna throw them, I'm gonna toss them to the side. I think that she really cared about making sure that our community was uplifted. She talks about her Uncle Johnny in the album notes, and on social media she shouted him out, and in a later song she shouts him out. So she really, really cares about our community, and I appreciate her as an artist for using her platform to just shine a little bit of light and love on us. Um, so after Break My Soul, which again, fantastic record, I still love it. We go into Church Girl, which is like the breather for like a nanosecond, but it still gets me up, and I'll tell you why. As somebody who was raised in the South, in church, I'm obviously not a church girl, but I relate to the sentiment nonetheless. When Mama says, um, I'm warning everybody, um, soon as I get in this party, I'm gonna let go of this body. Oh my God, why am I blanking on the lyric? That whole section, the nobody can judge me but me, brings me almost to tears every time I hear it, because it is so hard to move through a space, especially the black space. Hearing from a very young age that you're going to hell for this, that, or the other. And you're really like, I'm not trying to hurt anybody. I'm really just trying to be the best person that I can, do the most good that I can while I'm on this planet. And just to be called a sinner and an abomination and all this other hatred spewed your direction from a young age. And then to have somebody like Beyonce to just be like, hey, baby, I'm just reminding you, you were born free. And nobody can judge you but you. And shake a little ass, while you're at it. It's just such a beautiful message to me. It's such a freeing message, and I know it's gonna go up at the tour. Like, it gets me up now, makes me want to shake a little ass now. And so when it comes to live, when she performs this live, I just know, I'm not gonna be responsible for what my hips do when that song comes on. So, take that as you will. After Church Girl, Plastic Off the Sofa, which I was so interested to hear this song, period, because what an interesting and very specific song title. This song to me is, if you captured the essence of falling in love, being in love, like that annoying, I can't get enough of you kind of love, like I just want to sleep under your armpit kind of love. And you put it in a bottle. If you put that in a bottle and put a cap on it, the title of that bottle would be Plastic Off the Sofa. Not only is Beyonce doing some of the best singing of her career, the runs in this song are disrespectful, because Beyonce, people cannot keep up. And I've seen the Plastic Off the Sofa challenges. Some people have done excellent work, but it's still not quite what Beyonce did. Um, so she's singing down reminiscent of her first album, Dangerously in Love, where um, she was just running so much. There were so many riffs, so many runs, and I appreciate her for that, just to show her musicality. Not that I'm saying that to be a great singer you have to be able to do a bunch of runs and stuff like that, obviously, but I just appreciate when she flexes that muscle. But there also is such a delicateness. There is just like a softness to her voice that feels like you're on a cloud. Like, I don't know how to describe it. You just have to hear it for yourself. And once you hear it, and I've seen a couple people skip it, it's too slow, it's too lovey-dovey, but I just think it's a beautiful fit for the album, especially when you wrap it in her entire discography and you look at how charged her last couple of albums have been with emotion. And this to me is like the love letter, to be like, we made it through all of that, and I'm still so in love with my husband and with life and my family. It's a beautiful record, and I cannot wait to see her perform it live. Going back to the seamless transitions, We leave church. I'm sorry, plastic off the sofa and go into Virgo's Groove. I got my skates back on. I am ready to dance. It makes me want to party. Like I don't know how else to explain it. I want to go to a ball. Like I know the gays are eating this up, and I kind of want to hear the rest of the Zodiac. Like if you want to do a whole Zodiac Groove album, Beyonce. I know she's not going to do that, but now that we've heard Virgo's Groove, I would like to hear the rest of it. I also appreciate overall how mature this album is. That Beyonce isn't shying away from cuss words. If you've been a big Beyonce fan for years, you know that in the past she is not the biggest cusser. And I feel like cuss words, there's a time and a place, obviously, but there is so much power in expression, cussing. I love a good cuss word. And so for her to be not only cussing all throughout this album, but talking about sex and passion and love the way that she's talking about it. She's grown, she's a wife, she is a mother of three, and I think it's so important for women, especially, but anybody, to see adulthood reflected in such a way where you can be an adult, you can be a parent, and not have to give up your sensuality, not have to give up your sexuality. You can be both and still be respected. Of course, there are people who talk out of the side of their neck and say Beyonce is this, that, and the other. Whore, she shouldn't be doing this. She should dress blah blah blah. But at the end of the day, she is controlling herself and her power by saying, "I can do this and this. It does not have to be separate." And I just appreciate her in that empowerment. I just think, as somebody who has grown up with Beyonce, like I've been listening to her since I was like 7, 8. It's just so nice as I'm moving into deeper into adulthood to have these ideals and messages kind of wash over me, and for it to be done in bops, like just bop after bop after bop, message after message. It's so important. It's so received. Beyonce, thank you. Virgo's Groove is a bop. Now, going back to when I said I would not be responsible for what my hips did earlier, the next song, Move, featuring Grace Jones and Tim's, also another one. Cannot be responsible for what my hips do. To me, it is another nod at her work with the Lion King The Gift album. It is very African inspired, from the beat to the delivery. When she's like Grace Jones, like I love that part so much. I say that all the time, just randomly. And again, it makes me want to be at the clubs. It is an anthem of just like, back up. Me and my girls need my space. We're here to do our thing. It's empowering. It makes you want to like puff out your chest and reminds you that you are that girl. Like I just applaud her for still being so true to her messages that she said over and over and over through her music, from Run the World Girls to Flawless to Formation, and for it to be in just such a queer space, to me is a nod that, like, yes, I'm saying girls get in formation, but I'm also saying like girls get in formation. So I applaud her. I love the song. Shout out to Grace Jones. Shout out to Tim's. I couldn't imagine like getting that call and being like, "Hey, girl, you're on a Beyonce album." Like, what? Um, yeah, I love Move. After Move, we have Heated. I just went to the Bridgerton experience, and I have this fan because I will be popping this fan, click clacking this fan when Heated comes on. Because I also bought the Beyonce fan, but I'm afraid I might break it, so I got an extra one just in case. But Heated is one of my favorite songs on the album. The lyric, "Only a real man can tame me, only the radio can play me." When I tell you that was so timely to what was going on in my life when she dropped this album. Again, she started the album with "I Am That Girl" and has been saying it in several different ways throughout the entire project. Heated is so good. It again reminds me of a summer day. It reminds me to just like let this shit roll off. Like you got me messed up, but I've been that girl. I am that girl, and I will be that girl. I'm losing feathers, but it is just it's so good. Heated is probably my top three from this album, and I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do my top three, and I feel like that changes every week, but I'll do my top three as of today when we finish. After Heated, Thick should be called Capricorn's Groove because as a Capricorn, this is our anthem. Um, he thought he was loving me good. I told him go harder. She thought she was killing that shit. I told her go harder. Cash getting bigger. Like racks getting bigger. Like y'all don't hear her. Y'all aren't listening. Open your ears. Got me hot. It's so good. It's so good. Thick is so good. And that was another one that I claimed at the beginning. I feel like my sister's cat has been messing with my fan, and I don't want to have to beat his little booty. Anyway, yeah, Thick is so good, and again, when I saw the track list release, it was one of the ones that I was immediately drawn to. I appreciate the way she spelled it instead of the THICC that like a lot of people have been doing on the internet. It's thick with a Q. And a lot of people I've seen have complained because they like the second part of the song more than they like the first part of the song. The slow part building you into the more clubby like mix. But I appreciate the dynamics in both. I appreciate the ride that the song takes you on, and I love Thick. Thick gets me up. Thick makes me want to dance. Like again, I love when Beyonce talks her shit, and she is talking her shit in this song. Woo! All Up in Your Mind. Also, I've seen a lot of people complain that they don't like, and I just don't understand. Everybody's entitled to an opinion, so you know, have that opinion. But I love it. It gives me electronic. It gives me club. It gives me I don't know. Like I feel like it has a place on this album. I feel like each song sounds so different and yet they are so cohesively together. And I appreciate Beyonce for even experimenting and going to these places with her voice, with her sound. Um, it's gonna go up live. I could also see this as a very sickening transition song if she doesn't actually perform the song live. Um, but I I love it. I feel like it is lustful. I feel like it is passionate. It has a great groove to it. It has a great beat to it, um, and it's a nice transition into "America Has a Problem," which is another one of my favorite songs off the album. Um, when I saw the track list for "America Has a Problem," well, when I saw the track list and I saw "America Has a Problem" on it, I initially thought that it was going to be conversation about our nation as a whole and you know the injustices that black people have, queer people have, dealing with police and police brutality and things of that nature. And for her to come on this track and pretty much be like, America has a problem and it's me. Like I'm a bad bitch and I know it. Was not what I was expecting. I was surely gagged, and I appreciate the levity and um, just the joy that she focused on this album. I feel like Lemonade was so heavy, um, and Everything is Love was not as heavy, but it was still not like just summer bops. And so for her to just be like, I want to focus on joy, I want to focus on release, I don't want to overthink it, I just want this to feel good. First of all, I think she deserves it. I think that to have a career as long as she has had and to have done everything right, um, I think that she deserves to have fun. I think that she deserves to have a looseness to her art, to her creative process. And I hope that other creatives listen to this and use this as a blueprint to be creative in your art, to not have so many stipulations on yourself. I feel like so often we try to use a formula when creating music, you know, chorus, chorus, bridge, you know, final chorus, or whatever that pop music has become, R&B music has become, and it's okay to be a little bit experimental and follow your gut and trust what feels good, because you never know what might come out of that. And this whole album to me has been a testament to that. I feel like it's not so cut and dry with this is the first chorus, this is the first verse, this is the bridge. You know, it just is a ride. It's an experience, and I applaud her for being brave enough to be like, I'm not going to ever make an album that sounds quite like something I've already made. Like, Renaissance is just so different for Beyonce sonically, and yet somehow still very familiar. Um, so yeah, America Has a Problem is about. After that, we have Miss Honey. Miss Honey. Pure Honey is so fun. It is so gay. It is just the, you know, like when you're like, okay, girl, we gotta leave the club, like it's time to go, and then they play like Back That Ass Up, and you're like, oh, that's my song, like let me run back to the floor. This is what Pure Honey feels like to me. It is love. It is sweet. It is just like, I literally see like the color gold or like yellow when I imagine this song. Um, and again, for her to have actually sampled um, queer like royalty. I remember seeing the meme of Miss Honey on Twitter, and then for her to use that in the actual song is just, um, I can do nothing but applaud her for that. I love it. And then the last song on the album, Summer Renaissance, transitions flawlessly from Pure Honey into this song. And it is such a, I would say, hypnotic song. It like just feels like, I know everybody's like, ooh, it's a vibe, it's a vibe. But it feels like a vibe. Like, I don't know how else to put it but that. It feels like a vibe. It feels like just like a, you know, a wave. And I love it for what it is. I think it's the perfect album closer. And the trap of it all is, if you do not watch it, it'll cycle right back into I'm That Girl. I cannot tell you how many times I've listened to this album 2, 3, 4 times in a row because it just seamlessly plays back into itself. And that, again, shout out to her team, the producers, herself, her ear, to trust that we're trying to create this cyclical movement of an album that you really don't know where it starts and where it ends. I've worked out to this album. I have worked to this album. It just, I started in the morning and I'm listening to it before I go to bed. Beyonce sprinkled a little something in this album because I am literally addicted. I feel like there's still so much that I am learning about this project. Sonically, I'm listening to things and I'm like, oh, like I didn't hear that before. I didn't hear this. I didn't pick up on that lyric. But 30 days in, I can solidly say this is Beyonce's best album. I feel like she's taken all of her career and bundled it into this pod of self-expression and love and acceptance and being proud of where she is right now in the here and now of things, and a love letter to the Black and queer community, to just be like, I see you, I love y'all, I know y'all ride for me and I ride for y'all. To see Mama Tina, her mother, elated with Heated and the Uncle Johnny made my dress. Um, Uncle Johnny is Beyonce's godmother, um, and Miss Tina's best friend. Um, he helped raise Solange and Beyonce when they were growing up, introduced them to a lot of like the queer culture and fashion and things like that, and passed away from HIV complications. And so this was really a love letter to him and to our community. And I think Beyonce just did an amazing job. It doesn't feel cheap or like I said, like I don't know. I feel like so many people try to do this with genres of music, and the execution just isn't there. And I think Beyonce just executed it so well. So 10 out of 10, A plus. I don't know what y'all thought. What else I would give a Beyonce album, but it is a perfect album. Argue with your mammy. My top three songs from this project. Like I said, it changes all the time. I'm gonna say Heated, Thick, and Church Girl today. But like I said, it changes all the time. Heated, Thick, and Church Girl, I feel like encompass how I'm feeling right now, the messages that I need to hear, the entire album, really. But those three specifically really just get me through. They fill me with so much joy and inspiration, and I love them so much. Um, Beyond my top three songs, I've seen a lot of people talk about like ordering Beyonce's albums. And I don't want to say like best to worst. I will say my favorite, mine, me, to my least favorite. I love all of Beyonce's albums for different reasons, but if I had to order them just off the top of my head, real quick, Renaissance, Lemonade, self-titled Beyonce, for B Day, Dangerously in Love, I Am Sasha Fierce. I know the Hive is going to be upset. I know y'all are going to be mad with me. Please tell me in the comments, I guess, what the order should have been. I know 4 should be higher. I know BA should be higher. But for me, this is making me so sad. This crooked feather. For me, that is my order today. That could change. 60 days, 90 days, 6 months. Maybe I'll have a different order. But that is for me the order of my Beyonce albums. And yeah, I hope you guys have listened to the album by now. Please tell me what you think in the comments below. Um, this is just such a bundle of joy for me. Joy is really the takeaway from this, and I hope that that is the takeaway from you all. I know it might not be everybody's cup of tea, but I hope you gave the album a chance and tried to find a little bit of joy. And if you didn't, that's okay. It's your prerogative. But I am having a blast this era. I cannot wait for the visuals, Beyonce. I know they're going to be nuts. If you would like to put it in IMAX, I will buy a ticket or 12 to see this several times in IMAX because I know your visuals are going to be nuts. They're always nuts. But yeah, 10 out of 10 album. Perfect to me. Speaking of albums, I am working on mine. I literally have one last mix to do, one song left to mix, and then it is a wrap. I am shipping it off to distributors, and then it'll be in your hands very soon. Follow me on social media. Here's my socials. Follow me on my website. You can sign up for the email list so you will know the exact date that I'm dropping it. Beyonce has just really inspired me. I've been working on this album for a couple of years though, so it's not like I heard Renaissance and then started working on the album. I really started writing for this project probably right after Baptize Me from 2018. So I'll probably move over to Patreon to like give y'all a track by track breakdown, the album cover art, all the early goodies before we actually release. So if you'd like to support, all the funds from Patreon are going to, pushing this album, promoting the album. So I'll have that link below. I'll probably do like weekly videos of what's going on, where I'm at in the process, things like that. So check it out if you're so inclined. Thank you so much, Beehive, for being here. I hope you guys love the video, and I'll be in touch soon. I'm, itching to get back to YouTube. So this is a beautiful way for me, to me, uh, to step back into the YouTube space. So I love you guys, and I will see y'all next week.